So you certainly remember the days where HyperCam 2 was listed in the top left corner of every video. Somebody would pull up Notepad and painstakingly type instructions or a brief hello. You're playing around with the idea of starting a YouTube channel, focusing on old school Runescape content, and you want to take the upgrades a bit beyond 2007. I'll walk you through a brief guide and how-to tutorial on creating interesting cinematic panning shots across the game. For our purposes here, we'll be using the RuneLite client, a free recording software called OBS, and an optional video editing software such as Vegas Pro, although a few others will serve the same purpose for free. As a quick side note, although I purchased this laptop only months ago, it seems to have the same computing power as a gateway computer straight out of the cow-colored box in the late 90s. Some of the video clips I show here will include some buffering, but assuming your computer is slightly more advanced than mine, you should see no issues in your cinematic recording process. You'll primarily want to use the large size display screen within the game options, but that still leaves the minimap to deal with. RuneLite has an excellent plugin called Minimap, which you can search and disable, so it doesn't take up pesky room while you're recording. We can access the GPU plugin within the RuneLite menu options. This allows for a handful of useful aesthetic options when you're creating your cinematic shots. For one, we're able to obscure the surrounding area with a fog feature. This can add an interesting blurring feature to the edges of the map. In addition, we're able to change the render distance as a whole, so you're able to see farther away from where your character is standing than you normally would. Note that this takes up additional processing power on your computer, so you might experience a higher rate of buffering in the videos. As you play around with the other available options, you'll find that most of them change the graphics of the game, at least slightly. It offers a varied perspective compared to what you would normally see when playing the game, which could be enticing or allow your video clip to have a little bit more life. Another useful RuneLite plugin that we'll take a look at is Entity Hider. While you may be using this while at Wintertot or Thieving Arty Nights, it's very useful for eliminating other players, pets, or NPCs from your immediate view. While you might technically consider yourself an elite PvPer, you likely haven't used the render self option for anything other than just playing around. If you aren't aware, you can type ::render self with no spaces between those words, which can turn your character invisible, visible again, as many times as you'd like. This is great for eliminating yourself from any of these shots. For our benefit here, we can see a plethora of goats. In my view, the most crucial plugin for recording cinematic shots within RuneLite is the Detached Camera plugin. Using this, we're able to use the WASD keys rather than the typical arrow keys to pan around. In addition, the keys R and F can be used to change the height or altitude of the shots that are shown on screen. While holding down any of these keys, you can also hold down the Shift key to move in slow motion, significantly slower than you would typically move when panning around. For reference, the typical arrow keys can still be used while panning around to change the direction from which you're looking. Last but not least, while in full-size mode within RuneLite, be sure to get rid of any other menu options so they aren't shown on screen. In that case, I think you're good to go. Best of luck in the video production process.